Last time out, the team took decisive action to deal with the shipping warehouse, but now they have to escape. Navigating Limehouse won't be easy, with police and rival gangs at every turn.
Your feet slide on the slippery cobblestones as you dart into the nearest alley, a narrow, twisting gap between crumbling warehouses and soot-blackened brickwork. Behind you, an orange glow rises into the night sky, and police whistles wail in the darkness. Emerging from the alley, you follow Bert, crossing a bridge that spans the dark waters of the Limehouse Cut. As the last of you cross the bridge, heading north, you hear a shout from behind you. "Oi, you there! Stop! Police!" What are you going to do?
Run.
Yep, run.
Figured you might say that. You're just going to... Okay, so you pelt over the bridge of the line and into... You just plunge into the maze of alleyways that are before you. Okay. Can you just remind me who's carrying what, please? In terms of the stuff that you've taken from the alley from the warehouse.
I think we've got a sawn-off shotgun each.
Yeah. What about the box?
Three Mills bombs and 3 sticks of dynamite. That's what I've got.
Okay, so you separated them all out, and they're not in boxes anymore.
No, we separated them out.
Okay, right. So you try and redouble your speed as you become aware of the constables behind you. So
we could blow the bridge.
Okay, you head across the bridge. You head down a narrow side road, and then you turn sharply as the road enters an alleyway. Douglas, Charles, you seem to have taken the lead. You sprint. Well, you find yourself running at top speed and outpacing the rest of them. Are you going to go on ahead, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll try to dart into an alleyway, but I'm really waiting for Albert to count. How fast is he looking?
Waiting for what? Sorry.
Waiting for Albert.
Bert. So you're going to try. You'll keep yourself level with Bert, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So Douglas, you come to the corner. As you turn the corner to head into the alleyway, the ground is slippery. It's drizzling. Can you make a dex roll, please?
Oh, pick on me! I'm gonna fall over. Absolutely scream round the corner.
What'd you get?
3.
Okay. You safely negotiate the sharp bend and head deep into the dark alleyway. Bert, what are you doing? Can you do the same, please?
I have rolled 20. It's a hard success.
Okay, great. You follow hot on the footsteps of Douglas, or you more or less shoulder to shoulder. Jacob?
That is a hard success.
Okay, excellent. So far, so good. Just Charles left. Charles, are you slow to wait for Bert to come to catch you up?
Oh, 74. Fail.
You failed, okay. Okay, you slip, unfortunately, and you lose your footing, and you go skidding across the entrance to the alleyway into the fence on the far side of the alley. Which not only hurts your knee and rips your clothes, but also slows you down quite considerably, as you can imagine. I presume the rest of you are just piling on.
Yeah, didn't see him.
Okay.
I thought I was in front of you.
You were, but you slowed down for Bert, didn't you?
Yes.
I'll be able to touch you on the corner.
Yeah, but he's fallen anyway, so there's not really much you can do. Okay, so the other three of you are running as fast as you can down the alleyway. Charles, you're in the process of standing up, and you can see the two policemen coming across the bridge now. You can their lantern bobbing, and they're kind of waving their arms, shouting, "Oh, you stop!" You can see like another figure behind them as well. Maybe another 1 or 2 policemen. You're not sure. But you pull yourself to your feet and obviously begin to head down the alleyway. The rest of you, you make your way down the alley. You come right to the bottom of the alleyway, and you realise that it's a dead end. All you've got is a wall directly in front of you. The wall is about 6 foot high.
You'll have to jump that then.
over it. Yes.
But what's your address in case we get split up?
Okay, you're running along. You get to the wall. You're going to try and just kind of vault over it then?
Yeah.
Well, climb it. 6 foot high, you got to climb it, really. Can you make a climb roll, please?
One bird to give me his address whilst we're climbing.
Okay.
It's an ordinary success for me.
Okay, you scramble over.
When I fail, I only have a... depends how difficult it is. So I've got a climb of 20 and I rolled 32.
Okay. You managed to scramble over the wall, but it does slow you down a little bit. You slip a little bit first and like drop back down. So you, Jacob, you go straight over. You're now behind slightly. And what about you, Bert? What do you do?
I will also throw myself over the
Yep.
wall. Ooh, I have failed. Well, I assume I failed. I rolled 84. Well, really.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so that you
Yes,
haven't
I have
failed
failed,
you haven't failed to get over the wall, but it slowed you considerably.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're back there. Okay. Right, so that now leaves Jacob. You've gone straight over the wall. Douglas and Bert have scrambled over more slowly. Charles, you're still running down the alleyway. You kind of take a look over your shoulder as you're sprinting down the alleyway, and you see one of the policemen go absolutely flying on the end of the alleyway, and almost a mirror image of what you a carbon copy of what happened to you, kind of slipping, crashing into the fence. The other one is at the head of the alleyway and just carries on running down. Okay, Jacob, you find yourself in a yard. You've got over the wall as an open yard, and there are fences all around the yard. The fences are wooden, and there's as you're kind of looking around, you can see that there's a warehouse positioned in the middle of the yard. So you got a choice. You can either try and jump over one of the wooden fences to get out of the yard, or you can run around the front.
I will go. Presumably the fences are closer, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try. Are they sort of 6 foot as well? Similar height?
No, they're not. They're a bit smaller. They're about 5 foot high, and they're quite flimsy. So you can kind of jump. You need to kind of jump. So if you make a jump roll, please.
No, that's a fail, but not by. So I got 20 and
only just failed.
31.
Okay.
31 against 20. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of take a run and jump at it, trying to just vault over the fence, but you don't quite make it catch the top. But you manage to catch yourself, stop yourself from falling. As you do that, let's have a look. Fence. Yeah, you drop back down to the ground, then vault back up again. And just as you're just scrambling over the fence when you see Bert and Douglas now approaching. Are you going to try and do the same? Yeah.
Wave them towards me. Yeah.
Okay. You going over the fence?
Yeah.
Go on then. Jump roll for both of you, please.
Mm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Charles, I need you to make a climb roll to get over the wall at the bottom of the alleyway, please.
Oh, okay. I don't make that. I have got a jump of 20 and I rolled 64.
Okay. So again, you try and vault over the fence, but it's you kind of mistime it. And you end up just jumping back down into the same yard that you're in. Again, so you just try and scramble over it. It slows you down quite considerably. But you haven't hurt yourself. Bert, what did Bert get?
Slightly slow on the roller. 39.
So that's not a success. Okay.
Not a success. No.
Okay, you climb over slowly with Douglas.
That was against jump, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes. You tried to jump over it. It would have been quicker if you could have done that. You can see that.
Yeah.
You can see Jacob is way off down the alleyway on the other side now after vaulting over the fence. Oh no, he didn't make it, did he? To slowed him down, so he's just managed to get over. So you've all managed to get over the fence, but again, it slowed you down. Charles, have you managed to climb over the wall?
No, so I didn't. Got 65, so that's a fail.
Okay, right. So the policeman is now bearing down upon you as you drop back down on the same side of the wall as he's on. He's like, "You there? Don't move."
Are we quite close together?
No, you're quite spread out now.
Oh, okay.
Because he's still in the original alleyway. You've gone over the wall into the yard and then back over into another alleyway via the fence. So you're like two locations away, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Charles, what are you going to do? You still got time to clamber over the wall.
Yeah, I'll do that. Clamber over.
Do that. Okay, clamber over the wall. You head across the. You land on in the yard on the other side of the wall just in time to see Bert and Douglas scrambling over a fence.
Yeah.
Over you're going to follow them.
Yes.
Okay. Right, starting to gain on them a bit now. Meanwhile, Jacob, you're now back in another alleyway on the other side of the fence, sprinting as fast as you can.
Keep running. Yeah.
Okay, you up ahead in the alleyway, you realise that you're running down the side of what looks to be a public house. Suddenly, like a small crowd of patrons pile out of the doorway into the alleyway in front of you. What are you going to do?
Dodge around them and carry on.
Okay, you're just going to try and push your way through, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I'll try and
Okay.
dodge as much as I can rather than.
Okay, so
Yeah.
make a dodge roll, please.
That's a success, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, ordinary success. Yeah.
Well done. You nimbly kind of dodge your way through the crowd without causing too much ruckus, and continue on down the alleyway. Douglas and Bert, you're bearing down upon the patrons from the pub now. In the narrow alleyway. What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and catch up with Jacob.
Okay.
And I'm going to. How far away is Charles from me?
Half past Charles from me. He's probably about 50 yards behind you.
Okay. I'm going to try and wait for Charles.
You're going to wait for him to come over the fence then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, Douglas, make a dodge roll, try and make your way through the crowd. If you're trying to keep up with Jacob, please.
Was that dodge, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy success, 32.
Okay, so again, you follow Jacob's route that he's taken. You dodge nimbly through the crowded with a narrow alleyway that's full of people, and you get a few kind of stares and looks, but you're through before they even got a chance to react. Following hard on the heels of Jacob. Charles, bringing up the rear, can you make a jump roll to clear the fence first time?
6.
I needed that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hard success.
Yeah, you needed that because the policeman is in the yard. Okay, so you literally just vault straight over the fence, and then you just see Charles come flying past you, landing perfectly in the alleyway. I presume you're just going to run off then, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
No, I just we're in an alleyway, so we can only go forwards. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, yeah.
You can see ahead of you in the dark, ahead of you in the kind of dim light. You can see a crowd of patrons walking down the alleyway, and then beyond them, you can see your two colleagues who have negotiated that and sprinted past them.
Okay. As soon as we're clear of the alleyway and there's an opportunity to jink in a different direction, I'll tug at Charles's sleeve, and we will jink left compared to Douglas and Jacob, so that we're splitting up.
Fine. Okay. I presume you're going to try and get past the crowd in the alleyway.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to.
You can hear booted footsteps coming up to the fence on the other side of the yard now. Okay. Make a dodge roll, please, to get through.
Both of us.
Yep.
Oh, two fat ladies, as they say in the bingo halls. That's not very good for me.
No.
I can't get past them.
Yes.
Yeah, you literally run into the back of two fat ladies.
Hey.
Yeah. So I failed for Charles as well. Got 30. Needed 27.
Right. Okay. So you're both held up quite considerably by. You kind of end up having to push your way through the crowd, and you can now see. You hear the heavy thud of booted footsteps landing as one policeman lands in the alleyway behind you. No more than about 15 feet behind you now, as you manage to push your way through the crowd.
Just to picture it.
Yeah.
We're sort of through the crowd.
Yep. You're
so the crowd is now between me and the policeman.
Correct.
And the only way the crowd can go is either towards the policeman or towards me.
That's exactly right, yeah.
So if I fire a shotgun blast in the air, panicking the crowd, they have to run towards the policeman.
They could run.
For example.
Yeah, you're through the crowd. That would be the case, yeah.
Stampede!
Yeah. Okay, what are you doing? You just going to carry on running, or?
Yes.
Okay, you carry on running.
I've chickened out of this tremendous plan.
Oh, I really like that.
Right, okay. Let's see if the policeman managed to get himself through the
Preferred my grenade plan earlier on.
The thought did cross my mind.
Okay, one of the policemen skillfully negotiates the crowd and is literally right behind you now. So right behind Bert and Charles. Charles, you begin to pull away again, but you're running as fast as you can, and you can hear the policeman behind you gradually gaining on you. You obviously take the chance to look over your shoulder, and he's probably no more than, let's say, closing from 15 feet. The other two, you're right. You come to the head of the alleyway now, and you find yourself on a road that runs kind of parallel to the end of the alley. Which you're going to go left or right?
Right.
Okay, head right and carry on running. You haven't got a clue where you are, but you're just running in the dark through. Okay, you head right. Now the road carries on and bends to the left, and there are numerous alleyways off the road. Are you just going to carry on running down the road, or are you going to? You feel like you might be kind of travelling east, and maybe back towards the Limehouse Canal, or you can dive into any of the alleyways that are left and right of you as you run. Sorry, left of you as you run.
If we carry on down the road because there's a bend in it, will we be out of sight of where the police are going to emerge?
Yeah, you will. Yeah, if you get there in time.
Try and get a bit of distance along the road first, then before ducking into an alley.
Okay.
To try and get basically out of line of sight before I, go anywhere else.
Yeah. Are you just carrying on running with him, Douglas?
Yeah, I am until I can catch up with him enough that I can speak to him.
Okay, well, he's running. You glance back over your shoulder, Jacob. You can see Douglas trying to catch up with you, but you're staying but kind of equidistant apart unless you slow down.
I will slow a little bit just to let him close.
Okay, he closes with you. Meanwhile, you come to the end of the alleyway. The other two. What are you going to do? You quickly glance around. Can you make us? You can see. To the right of you, you can see Douglas heading off around the corner.
Okay, how much further ahead of Bert is Charles?
About 15 feet now.
Okay.
It's starting to pull away.
And the policeman's, 15 feet?
You can see the policeman right behind. Yeah, right behind Bert.
Okay, so what I'll do is try and throw myself against the end of the wall on one side, left side. And then as Bert comes past, I'm going to stick my foot out and try and trip up a policeman.
Nice. Okay. Bert, you come sprinting past, out into the road, and the policeman is following. So, can you make a... So, I want a stealth roll from you first, please.
Okay.
That is a success.
Not from you, Bert. Sorry,
it's from me.
This is from...
yeah. Sorry, dude.
Oh, it's a success.
Okay. Is it a standard success or a hard success?
It's a standard success.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Can you make a brawl roll then, please?
Oh, that's a success as well. Nicked it.
Okay. So the policeman's completely oblivious to you, and you stick your foot out, and absolutely catch him perfectly. He goes sprawling across the floor, hitting his head quite hard on the ground with the momentum that he's taken, and he just lies in the street groaning. Bert, what are you doing?
Which way?
Don't say shooting him with a shotgun.
Checking in for treasure.
So, we're running in the road in the opposite direction to Jacob and Douglas.
You're going to go left, though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Douglas, you've caught up with Jacob.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
So, Jacob, follow me. We're going to get to Bert's house.
Okay, I shall follow.
Okay. Are you going to carry on running along the road, or are you
I'm going to duck into an alleyway when we're out of sight, and then I will try and navigate my way to Bert's house. For I do know where it is.
You do. And the other two, you're going left and just running down the road, or are you jumping into an alleyway as well?
Alleyways.
Yep.
Alleyways. Okay.
Well, I'm being led by Bert.
Okay. Jacob and Douglas, or Douglas and Jacob, you you've since you left the road, you've gone down a few alleyways, navigating as best you can. Douglas, you know that you want to be heading roughly north, so that's the way that you're trying to navigate through towards Mile End Park and beyond the Bethnal. You come to you take a wrong turn. You find yourself in a dead end alleyway, flanked by ruins of like abandoned Victorian warehouses. There's warehouses on either side, and ahead suddenly you see a high wall topped with iron railings that looks ominously impassable. So the wall's about 12 foot high, and the railings are about another 3 foot on top of it.
Are they warehouses on either side? What kind of buildings are there on either side?
You kind of you turn to have a look. You see, the warehouses on both sides. The one on the left of you, as you turn back to look back down the alleyway, it's like a crumbling shell of a building. Its roof is sagging. Its walls are streaked with kind of soot and grime as well. And
if there's a door to it, I'll try the door. And
there's a door. There are words on the side of the building. The East India Mercantile and Shipping Company, established 1863. They're faded and barely legible against the black bricks.
Okay.
There are rotten wooden boards that cover the windows. There's also what appears to be an old crane which juts out of the roof. Its arm sways gently in the breeze above you. It kind of creaks ominously.
Look, Jacob, if we hide in here until things calm down, we can make our way in a more leisurely fashion when it's calmed down a bit.
Okay.
Can you both make a spot hidden roll for me, please?
It's a success, a regular success.
That's a fail for me.
Okay. Douglas, you notice there seems to be a faint glimmer of light which is visible between the boarding on one of the windows.
Yeah, in which case I won't go inside that one. What about the one on the other side?
Okay, so just as you're looking at that, suddenly you hear the door opens and you see a thin, almost gaunt woman with cropped dark hair and a scar running from her jaw to her collarbone. First of all, you think it's a man, but then you realise quite quickly that it's a woman wearing man's clothing, loose trousers, heavy boots. She's also got a long coat on. Evening, gentlemen. You're out your way here, aren't you?
We are. The coppers are after us. Can you hide us?
I thought you was running from the bottles. What you been up to? No good? You see her eyes narrow. Behind her suddenly appears a thick-set man with a barrel chest and arms corded with muscle. He's got a cauliflower ear and a crooked nose, and he wears a heavy leather apron complete with dried blood spatters. Who are they? What are you doing on our patch?
Passing through. If you can hide us for an hour or so, we'll make it worth your while.
What you been up to?
Oh, we'll pay extra for you not to ask. Nothing you need to worry about.
He turns to the woman. They look like troublemakers to me. Let's search them. Seems to be lots of lumps and bumps. Them faces don't fit those clothes neither. It's a fair observation. Yes. What have you got there?
I'll pull out my sawn-off shotgun and point it at them. This is what I've got. That was unwise.
Takes a step back. That's not a very clever thing to do.
About as clever as coming to try and search us. We were trying to be polite.
You're suddenly aware of some figures stepping out of the other warehouses in the alleyway. There's about half a dozen that quickly emerge into the alley.
I'm going to pull a shotgun as well.
Like I said, we're just passing through. We don't want any trouble. Doesn't have to end badly.
What have you been up to? She says.
None of your concern.
You see, it is my concern when you come onto our turf.
I'd like to leave it as I came in. We've got no trouble with you.
Why are you packing then?
None of your concern.
Well, it became our concern when you came strolling down our alleyway. So, again, you were aware in the doorway a third figure, a kind of petite woman with she's got graceful looking with pretty almond-shaped eyes, of Oriental appearance. She wears an elegant red silk dress complete with Oriental dragon designs. She says, "You do well to listen to my friends. Do not upset them. Could get messy."
We don't intend to. We just want to go on our way.
Is the alleyway behind us clear where we came in?
No, that's where the men are. Because you can't go the other way down the alley because there's the big wall there.
Yeah, so we're in a dead end. There's
warehouses either side.
Two women and a man at one door, and how many men at the entrance to the?
There's about another half a dozen. They're not at the entrance, but they're just kind of hanging about where they're standing in the alleyway, trying to basically blocking your exit. I'll ask you one more time. What are you doing here? And I don't want any stupid fob-offs. I want to know what you're doing. You're obviously you're wearing clothes that you've obviously stolen, carrying shotguns and all sorts of other stuff by the looks of it. Running from the coppers. You tell us the truth, we'll let you go. If you don't, you'll never leave. Simple as that.
We're conducting business for Mr. Finch. Perhaps you'd like to take it up with him.
Oh, Mr. Finch, eh? That's unfortunate for you, isn't it? What sort of business?
I'll lower my shotgun and say, let me show you. And I'll pull out a Mills bomb.
Okay, I think an intimidate roll might be in order there.
I think you might get a bonus die with that, though, surely.
So
I'll give you a bonus die carrying a Mills bomb, yeah.
44. Pity. I'd like to be persuading them. 44. Nah. My intimidate is not good. It's only 15. My fast talk's good, though.
Oh, well, so she says, the gaunt lady says, she does take a step back and her eyes widen momentarily. Ooh, fireworks as well. You have been busy.
We have. Like I said, we don't want any trouble. We're carrying enough to make trouble for you if you want to make it that way.
What sort of business and where?
Did you hear a bang a little earlier down by the docks?
Yeah. He looks across it. You can still actually see you're not that far away that you can still see the glow in the sky. Over there, you mean? That's your work, is it?
Well, it's no coincidence that we're running around with explosives and there's a big explosion. What do you think? I think I should tell you that we mean business.
What have you got against Chowdhury then? That's his warehouse, isn't it?
Nothing against Chowdhury. It's who he does business with.
Rubs a chin.
He's moving things he wasn't supposed to be. We had to put a stop to it. Simple as that.
Interesting. What sort of things?
That I don't know. We were just told there were crates that couldn't be allowed to leave on their ship. So we made sure they didn't.
Mm-hmm. I reckon we should go tell Iron Jack. I don't trust these. Yeah, I mean, the problem I have is that I don't think Jack will be very happy if I let you go. I mean, coming here with all this kit and it feels like you're troublemakers, you know? As much as
we are troublemakers, as I said. But is it trouble that you want?
Trouble's our middle name.
Dead will be your last name if it goes the way I think it's going to. Look at it this way. It's going to take you a while to get some firepower that will go up against our shotguns. If you can get there in time. I've got a Mills bomb and others. Sure, you're going to kill us, but I'll take quite a few of you out before you do. And for what? Because you got nosy about something that's not your business. Because we happened to go down the wrong road. It's a bit of an untimely and unfortunate end for you and your crew. For nothing. Just walk away. Got no problem with you.
Where are you heading? If we let you go, where are you going?
North of the river. Further north. You don't need to know where. Home. We only came down here because we were trying to lose the coppers.
What would you do if you're in my position?
I would measure up what's in it for me. I'm assuming you're a business person. You've got nothing to gain. You've got nothing to gain and everything to lose.
You see, we don't like threats. We don't like threats at all.
No, well, it's not a threat. It's an observation. If you're a business person, what's the benefit? What do you gain other than shotgun pellets and shrapnel?
Let me at him. Oh, I'll beat some sense into him. Cocky bastard. The barrel-chested guy kind of moves forward threateningly.
Pull the pin out of the grenade.
She puts her hand on his, kind of pulls him back. No. Come, let's not be hasty. She says, looking at the pin.
See, this is how it's going to work. We're going to take a stroll back up the alley. Your friends up there are going to let us through. And we're going to go on our way. You tried to stop us. There's a scuffle. I drop the Mills bomb. We'll see which ones of us get up afterwards. It won't be me, but I'm sure I'll take out a few of you with me. Is it worth it?
Everybody's like looking at the woman. Probably not. No. There's something a bit not right about you.
Oh, there's plenty that's not right about me.
What's your name?
You don't need to know.
Give me your name and I'll let you go. Don't try lying.
Jack Sandbat
Try harder.
starts moving slowly towards the entrance, holding the grenade up.
The big barrel-chested guy is he's almost like a dog on a lead. You can just see he really wants to go for it. She says, looking at the grenade, "Tonight's your lucky night. I'm feeling generous. But if you ever come back down here again, fireworks or no fireworks, that'll be the end of you. Do you understand me?"
Agreed. I hope our paths never cross again.
She waves her hand, and look, the other guys that come out from the side of that are standing in the alleyway, they kind of move aside.
Okay, I'll walk slowly up to the end of the alleyway. You might want to hide the shotgun to look at Jacob without saying his name.
I'll keep the shotgun out until we get to the end of the alleyway, and then conceal it.
Okay, you get to the end of the alleyway, and you're obviously quite aware of the fact that there are still eyes on you from behind. You kind of glance left to right into there's no sign of the police.
Right, I'm keeping the Mills bomb so it's visible, and we'll start walking quickly down the alleyway. Down the road from the alleyway.
Okay.
Well done.
Not sure. That was we got away.
Mm.
When we're far enough away, I'll put the pin back in the Mills bomb and pocket it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Meanwhile,
let's get back to Bert.
Bert and Bert and Charles. You took the left hand, didn't you? And then dove into another alleyway. Are you just going to carry on running?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay. You make your way down a couple of alleyways, round a few corners, and then you're running out of breath. And you can't hear any signs of any pursuit now. You feel like you may have lost your tail, as it were. You think that Charles's trip probably slowed the policeman down pretty semi-permanently. And you're just standing in an alleyway now. It's kind of drizzling with rain. And you reckon you've got about another kind of 20 minutes walk from here to your house.
Yeah, we'll just calm it down to a nice, sensible stroll back home.
Okay.
Collars up. Brow of our hats now.
Yep.
Okay, excuse me for yawning. By the time it gets to about 11 o'clock, and you arrive at home, Bert and Charles, in your simple, fairly shabby tenement in Bethnal. There is no sign of the other two.
Open the door. Wait on the inside.
Okay, about another 20 minutes pass when you hear a knock on the door.
I'll move to the other side of the room, put my hand on my shotgun, and wait for
I'll go
Bert
answer the door.
Okay, you see Douglas and Jacob.
You made it then?
That's a relief.
Damp but alive.
Yeah. No problem. Everything all right with you?
Yeah. Got a little lost, unfortunately. Run into some trouble. Not of the police variety. But,
sort of trouble.
Mention of some called Iron Jack.
What?
Yeah, some woman with a big scar and a big
No. I
mentioned of a bloke.
I mentioned of Iron Jack, or you met Iron Jack?
No, they wanted to take us to see Iron Jack.
Sheesh. All right. Well, that's a close escape then, lads.
It felt like
Iron
it.
Jack. No. Iron Jack's the leader of the Limehouse Cutters. Bit of a rival operation, you might say. I hope you didn't mention Mr. Finch.
I mentioned Mr. Finch, which would explain the reaction.
Yeah, they probably wanted to send a message, which means you're lucky you're not,
Wow.
Your outside's on the inside and your inside's on the outside and all that.
Wow. It's pretty close to everybody's insides being all round the outside. I had to demonstrate how a Mills bomb works to them.
What? Used it?
No. Showed it to them.
Getting close to it.
Came close. Didn't need to. But put it this way, I hope I don't run into them again.
Yeah, me too. They'll be right knocked off that there was Shadwell Syndicate boys in their in their manner.
Well, might have to warn Mr. Finch that I mentioned his name then, because don't want any blowback.
I will feed your faux pas back up the line. No problem.
Anyway, now what?
Bed.
I think we do need some rest. And then wasn't the plan to leave for Essex tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Take Charles's car, drive on up, and have a butcher's.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay,
Nice.
so you're going to hit
Nice
the
one.
hay.
Do anyone some tea before we
You got anything stronger?
Obviously.
I'll have a tea with a splash of something.
Yeah, nice.
Mm.
Milk.
Right.
Yeah. Full cream.
Four Irish teas coming up.
Okay, you sit around enjoying your Irish tea in the less than salubrious surroundings of Bert's house. Having been in Brown than the Savoy of late, it does feel like a bit of a come down. But your fatigue overcomes you once you've drunk your tea, and you all go to bed. You awake Wednesday, the 18th of February. A grey, drizzly, quite gusty day actually. You wake early, hear the sound of a couple of mongrels outside having a fight in an alleyway. You can hear the whistling of the kettle, which tells you that Bert's already up.
Get up. Go and see him.
Okay, you've only got your one set. You've only got the set of clothes that you came here in at the moment. Obviously, you're wearing your disguise clothes currently.
That's fine.
So we need to get kitted up, don't we, for Essex? Obviously, we're going to take the explosives and the guns, presumably.
Yeah, well, we're going to need... well, what else do we need? I've got a torch. I've got lockpicks. Got a crowbar. Is there anything else we need?
We need some outdoor clothes, don't we? It's it's February. It's cold.
We're wearing coats.
We're going to be out. We're going to be out in the marshes, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because it's tomorrow night, the ritual, isn't it? So if we head up to Essex tonight, then we either come back or we stay there all night.
Yeah. Well, we could stay in a guest house. Molly, how are we doing this? Well, I mean, we're driving down there. Are we gonna get a boat and come at it from the sea?
I think that was the plan.
Yeah. I thought the plan wasn't the plan to try and get into the house. Well, today now.
Yeah.
Before the ritual and before
so we can get a good search of it before there's too many people around.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I like that.
But the bridge is going to be guarded.
Well, perhaps if we can hire a boat and get there during daylight hours, and then perhaps just hide up for a bit, and then go to the house once night falls.
Yeah. Well, depending on if there's any cover, we might want to try and get up there during the day. I'm not if we don't know where we're going, trying to get across marshland in the dark.
Oh no, I agree. No, that's what I meant. We go there during the day. We and we scope the place out, and then wait for it to get dark before approaching.
Then break in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Any objections to the plan, Charles?
No, that sounds fine. So I'm driving to the coast. Got the name of the town is.
Yeah, I need to remember the name of the town.
Oh, Walton on the Naze.
Yes.
So we'll see if we can hire a boat.
From there, leave my car there, hire a boat, and then we go up the coast and then back in again.
Yeah, loop round.
And then
it's on a kind of like river stroke estuary, isn't it?
Yes, and then find a convenient place to moor the boat so we observe across the marshes.
Do we want to take some disguise? I mean, perhaps pretend to be bird watchers or something similar. I imagine it's going to be a fairly small place, and
we mentioned duck hunting.
Well, why don't two of us hire the boat and then pick up the other two further up the coast?
Perhaps bird watchers. We can take. Well, I'd be quite handy if we had some kind of
binoculars.
We want binoculars anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I have binoculars, but I'm not carrying them.
I think unless we have a sort of a good reason to be there, it's likely to be a small town or a small village, and people will talk.
Well, that's why I was thinking that it might be sensible if we split up, and then because four of us, one of whom's an American, is going to attract attention.
Yeah.
If there's just two of us who go bird watching,
and then
that
pick up
would
the
be
others.
a bit further up the coast.
Although duck hunting would explain my shotgun. Not sure.
What sawn off one?
Not sure it'd explain those shotguns, but
Not very gentlemanly, Charles. The sawn off.
but I'll take my own shotgun when I collect my car and clothes.
Right? Can you take some? You've got binoculars as well.
Yes, yeah, and hunting clothes.
Well, in which case, why don't you and Albert hire the boat, because you can be the duck hunter, and Bert, you can be his help.
Righto.
And then you collect us up the coast. So if you drop us off, then we'll walk the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work for everybody?
Yep. We are going to need some binoculars, aren't we?
Yeah, hopefully Charles has got some.
Oh,
If he's going to collect some when he goes and gets his car and such like, we'll have.
Is there anything at the hotel that you need?
No, I've got everything I need.
I have heard rumours that there are shops in London, so we might be all right.
Change of clothes would be good.
Some
We
weather gear.
blend in a little in the East End in these clothes, but I'm not sure we'll blend in rural Essex.
Yeah. All right, let's go get what we need on the way to get in the car.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's crack on before we lose too much light.
Yep. Okay. Go and buy some
outdoor clothes.
Outdoor hunting clothes. And
we'll just arrange somewhere where we can pick you up once I've got the car.
Yep.
And some decent packs to carry all this stuff as well.
Yeah. Some knapsack. Some knapsacks. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to find a suitable shop for such things, and then we will meet you where?
Where's the car?
It's
Meet at the car.
It's home, Knightsbridge.
We'll meet you on London Bridge.
Okay.
In 2 hours.
Sounds reasonable.
Right.
Right, we'll do that then.
Once you meet on London Bridge, then the plan is to drive all together to Essex. Is that right?
Then split up in two with Charles and Bert to hire a boat, pretending to be duck hunters, and then we'll get picked up later and then go to the island.
Okie dokie. When you say split up, so you mean when you get to the town, then you're going to
before we get to the town, we're going to find somewhere on the coast where they can moor the boat and collect us. So we'll hang around there, and then they'll go and get a boat from the harbour, take it out, go round the coast, pick us up, and then sail the rest of the way. So we won't actually go into town with them at all. Okay. So as far as anybody in the town is concerned, it's just two of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going to go. Are you going to go past Walton then? So looking at the map, are you going to? When you say you're going to go, you're going to be dropped off. You mean north of Walton on the Naze, further up coast?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I suppose as far up as we can, because sort of right at the tip of that peninsula, if possible. Well, but anyway, somewhere north of Mizer House. Anyway, on the eastern side of that river.
And seeing how far the road goes. Yeah, it goes all the way up pretty much to the top. Okay. Right. So good. So the journey. So you get picked up. You gather all of your requirements together without any hindrance, and you meet up on London Bridge, as was scheduled, to make the drive, which is going to take between 2.5 and 3 hours to get there. So you should be there by lunchtime. The journey from London to Walton-on-the-Naze unfolds gradually, the bustling city giving way to the quieter open stretches of Essex countryside. The drive, just over 2.5 hours, carries you past the ancient Roman settlements of Chelmsford and Colchester, and through miles of open countryside dusted with the last chill of winter. The road winds gently as you near the coast, the occasional glimpse of distant marshland hinting that the sea is not far now. You approach the outskirts. As you approach Walton-on-the-Naze, the town announces itself quietly. You can see a scattering of houses on the outskirts with their chimneys puffing their trails of smoke into the cool February air. So you're not going to go towards the town, you're going to carry on along towards the Naze, aren't you, instead?
Yeah.
Okay. So you head up into the wilds of the Naze. It's quite a barren peninsula with rocky, and you notice how rocky the coastline is in a lot of places. There are a couple of beaches here. One in particular, signposted the Naze Beach, which is about halfway up the Naze, but a decent distance away from Walton. So it may be that you also see signposts for the Naze Tower as well. But it may be that the Naze Beach or somewhere along there would be a good kind of dropping off point for you guys, so that you could be picked up from there. How are you going to do it then in terms of the both? Because you didn't all want to be in the same car, you said, didn't you?
This is that big a problem away from the actual manor, because if they're doing loads of murdering there, why they're not going to be that involved in the town?
Yeah.
I don't
If you
know.
drive us up, if you drive us up toward the Naze Tower, drop us off there.
Mm-hmm.
You head back to Walton on the Naze, and we'll walk from the Naze Tower west
just cut
to get
across.
to the edge, to get to the water's edge, and then you can pick us up on the way up that channel.
The only thing we're concerned about is not being all seen together and raising suspicion, so that people would remember us when we get the boat. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Drop you off to the Naze Tower then.
Okay, well, you do that.
Mm.
You can do that. Then you head into the town. Yeah. And go across to the western part of the town and hire a boat. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, as you step out of the car, a lot of the town itself is narrow roads, scattered houses, small shops, post office, and a few tea rooms. Centre's salt and seaweed grows strong as you get out of the car, and the breeze brings it to you. It's quite grey though. It's obviously February, so this is a seaside town. And it's not particularly full of energy and excitement at this time of year. A few of the locals wrapped up against the cold amble around the pavement. You can hear the seagulls screeching overhead. So you get out of the car. You're going to head towards where you hope you can hire a boat.
Yes.
The marina. Okay. You head past you can see a white building, black and white building across the road. A pub. The name is painted in bold, faded lettering. The Victory.
What's today's date?
It is Wednesday, the 18th
of February.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Just checking, because duck hunting season ends on the 20th.
You just happened to know that, did you?
No, of course I didn't. I just checked. It's typically runs September the 1st to January the 31st inland and until February the 20th below the high water mark. So we're you just want to get a last
hurrah.
Last slaughter in.
Carly knows his Carly knows his stuff, hey?
You walk past a pub called The Victory, possibly a nod towards Walton's maritime heritage. And presently, you're on the marina, and the marina's really quiet. There's hardly anybody there. A lot of the boats are moored and out of use. But there are a couple of old sea hands milling about.
Excellent. I'll stroll up to one. I'm dressed in all my duck hunting finery. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I
don't need to ask you what you're here for.
Certainly, just looking to hire one of these lovely boats. Today, maybe tomorrow.
Of course.
Just fancy paddling up the river there, seeing what we can find in the marshes.
What are you after?
I'll just point to one that looks as though it can carry 4 people. Something
I
like
didn't
that.
mean what boat you're after. I meant what you're looking for.
Ducks mainly.
Yeah, what sort of ducks?
Well, mallards. Certainly will be the main one. It depends what you have here.
You laugh. So you're from London, I presume?
Yes.
Don't see many ducks in the parks there then?
No, I've shot them all. So just wondering how much it would be for hire it for the day. As I say, day, maybe tomorrow as well. 2 days.
Okay, well, yeah, of course you can. I'm only pulling your leg. Have you driven one of these before?
A few times. But if you want to go over the control, see if it's any different. Start the engine and point it in the right direction.
You don't have to worry, mate. I'll be there. I'll make sure you're safe. Hey.
Yeah, he shows you the ropes that were. Laughed at the fact that you didn't say anything about the fact he had driven them, and then takes the money from you. Says, "How long is it? 2 days? Did you say?"
Yes, that should be fine. We'll camp out overnight, make an adventure of it, and then we'll bring it back at the end of tomorrow.
Where are you camping?
Well, just thinking along the coast up there.
Well, on the Naze.
We'll find a sheltered spot.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you want to be careful up there this time of year. Cold.
Why is that cold? Well, we've have a fire. I've got coats and blankets. It'll be fine.
If I was you, I'd probably come back and then go early next morning. Camping out there is not a good idea.
Why not?
It's not, right? Dangerous, especially people like you don't know the land.
Because of the tides?
Difficult. Well, yeah, that's one of the things. But then you got the marshes as well.
Getting lost in the marshes.
Yeah, drowning.
Anything else should be aware of?
He looks at you. No, but ain't that enough?
Certainly. We'll always keep the river in sight and be sure not to let the fire go out.
Yeah, and keep away from the tower at night as well. If you are going to stay up there.
The tower? Lay's tower?
Right, that's it. Keep away from it at night.
Why is that?
Anyway, just do what I say. I've lived there all my life.
Yeah, that's what I'm listening to when you said. Always got to that's the locals. You know this place, man and boy.
Yeah, well, we've had too many accidents around here lately.
Well, with
Sort of accidents.
He looks around, he says, people disappear and that sort of thing, you know? People like you.
really?
Sightseers, fossil hunters, bird watchers.
And these are accidents.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a dangerous place.
Take a point.
I'd come back if I was you. I wouldn't stay overnight up there. Not for love nor money. Look.
Or perhaps we better heed your words and come back later. Are there rooms in the pub yet?
Are there what, sorry?
Would there be rooms available in the pub, or do we need to go into town?
No, the Victory will do you well.
Hearty meals too, I hope.
Oh, yeah, the food's good.
Excellent.
You'd be better off doing that than you would staying up on the marshes, that's for sure.
Wise words. So, well, thank you for that. I think we've got what we need. The boat, fuel.
Yeah, it's fully fueled.
Grab our equipment from the car and we'll be off.
Okay,
so thank
you load
you for your
stuff
advice. It is appreciated.
You load the stuff into the boat. Just mind you listen to it.
Like we're on.
Okay, once you've got all the stuff in the boat, you then, I presume that you're going to head off to try and find the other two.
You are Ted and Ralph, and I claim my £5.
Do you know what, Bert? I think I made a mistake. I only hired it for 2 days. We should have had 3, shouldn't we? Today, Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday. And if we're out Thursday night too, damn it. If we don't bring it back at the end of tomorrow, they'll come looking for us. Maybe come back later today.
Okay, so you're gonna head up the Twizzle, are you? In the boat. The other guys, you're walking across the headland. It's just under a kilometre from the Naze Tower to the western side of the peninsula, where the river comes out at the top, which I presume is where you'll be meeting.
Yeah.
So you make your way across there.
What's the tower look like?
Very tall. I've just been looking at it.
18th century brick built.
Just
straight up. Wonder what it was built for.
Ghosts.
Yeah, 18th century. It's a quite interesting design with all the windows all the way up the side of it.
Maybe we could go visit it after we've finished it.
86 feet high. It was originally a navigation aid for shipping heading towards Harwich, apparently. Yes, built in 1720. Anyway, you make your way across the Naze, across the rough terrain, and eventually rendezvous with your 2 colleagues and the Robin, which is the small converted fishing vessel that they have commandeered.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Lovely day for it.
Tonight I'm more concerned about.
Locals are, suspicious, wary, warning us off staying out overnight. Cold, and that dangers of getting lost, but seemed to be a bit of an undercurrent there. No pun intended. But what did you think about it? Talking of people going missing. and wanders away from the Naze at night, the Naze Tower at night.
That's interesting.
Mm,
Have we lost Bert, or has he just gone mute?
I've lost it.
We got no Bert.
Hello?
Oh,
No.
he back.
Sorry, I had to plug my headset in.
Yeah, stay on the path. They
Go where the
stay.
moon. Well,
How are
if
we
they,
gonna
maybe
do this?
they, well, just say maybe they were just started finding victims in London because it was getting too obvious taking victims from the local village.
A lot more than we thought. They're taking a lot of locals too.
Mm. How are we going to do this? Sail
Looking at
round.
the map, there's a
Mm.
channel running roughly north to south, isn't there, at point B, which is the Walton Channel? Do we maybe head up there and then swing to the west, and then head south toward point A? And then if we keep going south, we'll get to the house. I mean, the alternative is to approach it from the south, but that looks like it'll be approaching it from the road.
We don't want to go near the road. Don't want anyone
I don't
to
know
see
how
us.
close. There is a channel, isn't there, running east to west that's slightly wavy, which goes
just
to
below
the
point B, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
but that goes to the north of the house, doesn't it? But I'm not sure how. Oh no, so it's the south of the house.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
the south of the house. It's not very far away. It's only about a couple of hundred meters from the house itself.
But presumably you enter that or you approach the house from the south. Do you? Is that
From the
dotted
south,
line?
yeah.
The road.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah, that
would we
road actually.
be better approaching it from the north then?
Yeah.
Going down that channel, which goes kind of north, from the north goes southwest-ish, you mean?
Yeah, well...
Yeah, well, I was thinking heading. There's a channel that runs sort of roughly north to south to the right-hand side of the house.
Yeah.
To head up that channel, and then
do the
head sort of head inland, and then head it south down toward the house rather than approach it from the road.
Yeah. So you head up the main channel to the right of the house, then moor the boat at the top of that, and then walk down. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's so we're going to just sailing up the river, mooring it at the top, but that's marshland. If we're directly north of point B, the tip where the channel goes down to point A, that's all going to be marshland around there.
Yeah, you can still navigate. You can still walk it though. It's not completely marshland. It's still.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking it's maybe only the sandy coloured.
Yeah, that's the rocky bits. Yeah, where the house is built.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at a more modern map though, you can definitely walk.
Looks like there's an
Sand
embankment
Creek
sort of running.
Salt.
Yeah.
Just to the right of that looks like an embankment.
So yeah, that's definitely doable. And that way you're not, like you said, you're not coming from the south where any cars that are going there will be approaching from.
I want to stay well away from that.
So it's mid-afternoon. You're in the boat. You just pick them up. So what's the plan now?
I think we head north, have a look just inside the channel that is southeast of the house, but we don't need to approach it just yet down there. But then, as we said, move up. We just want to scope the place out and the different channels.
With our binoculars, can we get a good view?
Yeah, it won't take long.
Boat?
Yeah, you can get a pretty good view. Yeah, you can get a good view.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
it won't take long just to sail up to the top of St. Salts, then back down the Dardanelles.
So you just want to. So you basically what you want to do is
just wrecking it.
Yeah. Okay. Using your binoculars to see what you can see, because you're not very far away there at all.
Yeah, and then back up again, but we don't want to go near the bridge or the road.
No. Okay. Understood.
So we'll go up, then across, down towards A, then back up again, and we'll see what we do when we see it.
Okay. You get up. You go up the that channel that we spoke about, and then you can go a short way along the one that heads kind of northwestish before it begins to become too narrow and navigable, which is okay because you wouldn't want to go any further that way anyway, because like you said, you'd be coming up the south. But it really gives you a really good view through your binoculars. You can see a 3-story mansion standing, which is quite an imposing sight, with it being kind of the only real building around here, standing high compared to the low ground around it. So other than the outbuilding to its rear, it's the only building on the island. You can see that the mansion itself, looking at it through your binoculars, looks to have been quite ravaged by time. It looks quite ill-kept. There's an ivy that crawls all over the front of it. And a gravel track leads from the south up towards the house. And through your binoculars, you can see a blue Bentley labelled Tourer parked out the front. That's the only car that is there currently.
What's our assumption here? Do we assume that anybody lives here full time, or are we assuming that everyone comes up? As if so, there's not that many seats in that car.
Suspect that's help.
Is that Gavigan's car?
Don't know.
How fancy is that?
Can you everybody make a spot hidden roll, please?
I failed. Not as badly as Jacob, though.
No, spectacular fail.
Oh,
You're busy looking at the car.
That was a hard success.
Oh, okay.
Standard success for Charles.
Okay, so it's parked at a bit of an angle, but only Douglas's keen eyes can pick up the number plate, Pen 1.
Well, I guess that answers the question whose car it is.
And it also fixes my querying because there was no expectation that he's here with just 2 or 3 people. He's going to have people already here,
Yes.
isn't he?
Probably going to have staff as well as
That's what I
who
meant.
came
Yeah.
with him in the car.
Yeah.
But there's going to be lots more later. Gentlemen, we're at a stage where we won't be able to discuss this later on. I don't want Gavigan to have an opportunity to even start his ceremony. The obvious way to do that is to kill him now, rather than waiting until other people arrive. How does everybody feel about that? It's a step beyond what we've done before. We've killed in self-defense, but this is actively taking someone's life.
I'm entirely comfortable with it. He's pure evil. He needs to be stopped.
Well, it's not exactly something that I'm particularly okay with it. Certainly, I'd need to be fully convinced of his guilt and complicity in my brother's death.
I can't guarantee that he was involved in your brother's death. How about the fact that he's murdered many other people and is actively seeking to summon a god to destroy the world?
Well, that does carry some weight, certainly. He does need to be stopped. I'm thinking also about the consequences. He will be missed.
He will.
And an investigation will be launched.
There will.
Presumably a much more detailed and exhaustive investigation.
Well, they'd have to find the body first.
Any of his victims, yes.
This place is isolated for a reason. We would have plenty of time to tidy up, remove evidence, remove bodies. It will be a lot harder later. But how do you feel about it?
Bloody hell, Douglas. I didn't realise you were talking to me. I thought you were just talking to these two. You really need to ask?
No, but you're part of the team. You get a say. I think I know the answer.
I need to crack on, that's what I say.
Right, in which case?
Before that turns into a parking lot.
In which case, shall we proceed carefully?
There is
now,
one other thing I've been thinking about before we launch fully into this operation. I'm thinking about the guests and visitors that are scheduled to arrive tomorrow evening.
Yes.
Their identities would be very useful if we could find out exactly who they are. This is clearly a wide conspiracy that is threatening not just the country but the world. So, because
I agree, but we do make our task 10 times more difficult if there's crowds of people to deal with.
But on the other hand, they may not know whether they may have already arranged to meet Gavigan here. So
this is a regular occurrence, so they will have already been invited, and they will probably arrive anyway. But Gavigan will be dead, and we will have removed their means to conduct their ceremony, and hopefully there will be enough evidence in the house for us to identify those involved.
Yes,
and we would have cut the head off the snake. We would have disrupted them I think we can assume that anybody who's in that house is complicit, staff included. I don't know how they could operate without being aware of what's going on, the ceremonies.
Well, I suppose even if the locals know that people go missing as tourists from London.
Well, we've encountered people before who we've assumed were innocent bystanders and turned out not to be. And also, let's not forget that there may be cooks, there may be maids working for him. Just because they're women doesn't mean that they can't be dangerous, doesn't mean they can't be cultists. So don't hesitate with them either. I'm not saying they need to be restrained at the very least. Assume them to be dangerous. But the only one we're here who definitely must die is Gavigan.
And of course, we need to take measures to conceal our identity if we do meet anyone.
Why?
Well, if anyone is to survive.
If we meet, sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
If we meet any of the staff and we decide to let them live, then they can't know who we are.
Then we wear face coverings and try not to use each other's names.
So this would be a good time to choose our nom de plumes. Perhaps we could have to think about that
as you're talking, but you're still looking at the house through your binoculars, and you see approaching the house along the gravel drive. You suddenly see a couple of cyclists, two relatively young women wearing kind of like cloaks over what look quite like maids' uniforms. They both got baskets on the front of their bikes, heading towards the house. They disappear around the back momentarily. In fact, they don't come back around the front. They just cycle around the back, and then you lose sight of them.
Now the question is, does anybody live on site, or do they leave in the evening?
Should we wait, find remain in this vantage point for a few hours, wait for night to fall, watch the house in the meantime, and then try and enter the house after dark?
What if Gavigan leaves, though?
Then he'll be back tomorrow.
Is he?
Well, if he leaves, it'll be easier for us to search the house.
Yes, but searching the house is secondary to getting Gavigan, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
There's a risk of that, but I would have thought that if he's arranging some ritual tomorrow night, he's going to be busy for the next 24 hours. Unlikely to hop back to London and hop back here again.
No, that is fair.
So if those maids are arriving here today by bicycle, hopefully they'll be leaving later on today and not staying over for the next few days.
Well, let's wait. Let's wait, see if the maids leave, and as soon as the maids leave, then we'll move on to the house. Yes?
Okay. You're going to wait where you are for a bit then?
Yes.
We want to take the boat a bit higher up, or are we just staying in this channel to the southeast of the house?
Don't think we need to worry about the boat, do we, again? Why would we move it?
It's just to be, I thought we were going to move it north to leave it there out of sight as we approach on foot.
Yeah, you are, but that was your plan. But I thought you were still just watching the house at the moment.
Yeah, we are. I think if we're sitting here watching the house, someone may observe us and wonder what we're up to.
I'm sure we can hide, can't we? We can lie low in the undergrowth.
So you're going to stay here you're in the boat still. You're just going to stay here observing the house with your binoculars, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
The light's starting to fade now. I mean, it's only probably just over an hour before dusk. Bearing in mind the time of year. During the next half an hour or so, you see the door open at the front of the house, and what looks like a butler come out, talk to somebody else at the front, and then that individual goes and starts washing the car.
So at least 4 people.
You can see occasionally people walking past the windows. You get the impression from observing the house that it is a functioning habited house with things going on, rather than it being. They're definitely, at least, well, you've seen 2 maids, you've seen a butler, you've seen another, and you can probably see about 6 or 7 different, what you guess are servants overall. There's quite a lot of activity at the house, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But as the light begins to fade and the cold begins to set in, what are you going to do?
Some fingers and hope that some of these people leave. If they're not going to leave, then it's quite a busy house for us to be sneaking around.
Yeah, so it's getting to the point now where you're struggling to actually see with the binoculars because it's quite dark, and also you're conscious of the fact that you're going to have to move the boat. If you don't go soon, then you're going to have to put a light on the boat to get out.
Why don't we just leave the boat where it is and just travel from here?
Yeah. Are we going to access the house tonight then?
It's only going to get more full.
It is. Do we want to wait though until a little bit later, and perhaps some of the staff have gone to bed?
Yeah, I think so. So it's where we're going to do a night raid. Hopefully people will be in bed and then we can creep in.
We need to wait till they're all a kip. Maybe those mates have cycled home. Then we go in.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to wait for a few hours on the boat, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe move it, if we have to move it a little bit closer to find somewhere to moor it, then we'll do that. And work out a route towards the house before the light does go totally.
So what sort of time are you planning on heading out? Obviously it's dark now, so you can't really see you can't see that. You can see you can see the house because you can see all the lights come on in the windows. So you can see that from the front of the house where you're looking at, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows on the front of the house on the ground floor, and they've all got lights in them. And then the second floor, there's a couple of lights on the left-hand side, and even the third floor has lights on as well. There's 2 windows on the third floor, like an attic room almost, and there's lights in one of those as well.
What sort of time is it now?
It's about 8 o'clock now.
I think we need to wait until 11 midnight when people start going to bed.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it worth trying to disable the car?
I was thinking that.
If that's the only means of getting help quickly.
Is there a phone line? We should cut that.
Yeah, you have seen a phone line when you've been looking with the binoculars. There is definitely a phone line heading towards the house. Well, you can see the connecting the house.
We should cut the phone line and
spark plugs. Steal them.
Okay, so you're going to wait till 11, but that's when you're going to get out of the boat, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By that time, all of the curtains have been drawn in the house, so you can't really. Some of the lights have gone off, but you can't really see behind the curtains and whether there are lights on or not. But the house certainly looks a lot darker than it did previously as the night draws on.
But the maids didn't leave.
No, nobody left. So you're going to get out?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you going to go? Going to head towards the house?
Yeah,
head towards
I think
the car.
we need to disable the car and the phone line before we go in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if we approach slowly with at least 1 or 2 people watching while the others move, take it in turns, because we want to know the instant someone steps outside, opens a window, whatever.
You noticed previously that about halfway up the gravel drive is the last telegraph pole before the wire goes to the house. When you say disable the phone line, how are you looking to do that?
That's a good question. How are we going to climb up the telegraph pole? Can we reach it?
Is it that difficult to shimmy up a telegraph pole?
Probably not. Actually, what you could do, you could go on. I mean, if the telegraph poles, they have rungs, but up away, don't they? So you sit on someone's shoulder and then go up the rungs.
Form a human pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll climb up.
So you want to? So you're moving towards the ground of the house, and then heading towards the bottom of the drive, and then up towards the telegraph pole.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give Jacob a bunk up so that he can get up.
We got something we can cut it with.
Pocket knife.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll hand him.
Okay. What? So there's a fair bit of vegetation around either side of the gravel road drive that leads up to the house. There are bushes and small shrubs and stuff. So there's quite a lot of cover there. So I guess you guys aren't just standing in the middle of the, or are you just standing in the middle of the drive?
No, just two are gonna hide in cover. I'll go. So Bert and Charles hide. Jacob and I will go and disable the phone line. Everybody should have masks, scarves up around their faces now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll keep an eye on the house.
Are you going up the telegraph pole?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you make a climb roll, please?
That's not a success.
Okay. What did you get?
47 against 30. Climb skill of 35.
Okay, so you've got a boost up, and also you've got the rungs on the pole. So I'm going to give you 2 bonus dice for that.
That's no good. And that's no good either.
Okay. It's quite slippery.
97 and 97.
Did you roll a fumble?
Well, no, I got 47 was the best roll, and I got 97 and 97
okay.
with the 2 bonus die.
So that's fine. Okay. Yeah, it's quite slippery because it's been raining and like drizzling. So you start climbing up, but it's not as easy as it looks. You're not actually you're not making much progress. You keep slipping back down again.
Shall I have a go?
Yeah, I'll give
Give
you
me
a leg up.
Yep. So I'll split my watch, half looking at the house and half down the road.
Success.
Hey, okay.
I obviously dried it out for you.
Okay, so you shimmy up the telegraph pole, and then you're just going to snip the wire. Yeah. Okay. Which you do. The wire kind of obviously just drops to the ground, hanging on from the house. What now? Up to the car, is it?
Yep. Let Bert do that.
Okay, Bert, you're going. And where are the rest? Are you all going up? Because the car is parked, obviously, on the kind of wider gravel area in front of the house. So are you all
No,
going up?
only one person, and then we'll try and get in around the back.
I will sneak up to the car to disable it by removing spark plug.
Okay, you're going to need to use a torch to do that because it's too dark otherwise. You won't be able to see. Are you happy with that?
With that additional information, I will.
You could use
instead
Let the tyres down.
Yeah.
I know. I will slide under it and cut the fuel line. So that way, the torch will be under it rather than in the engine bay.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
have a glove or a
Nice.
sock to
Um,
secure the torch, so it's only a very small part of it shining out.
okey-doke. Can I get you to make a stealth roll, please?
You certainly can. Oh my god! I've actually failed. I rolled 84.
Yeah.
The gravel.
I failed.
Luckily,
Okay.
Someone's as good at listening as you are.
The thing is, that's only just a fail for Albert. He's very, very good at stealth.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So you slide under the car.
Okay.
And you cut the fuel line, thinking that you've done it nice and quietly and without the torch being visible.
Yeah.
Okay. You slide back out. All is quiet, save for the rustle of trees and the gusts of the breeze. Cold
So we
breeze
can-
coming in from the North Sea.
Try and get in round the back of the house.
yeah, I think so.
Okay. You head round to the back of the house.
One thing I would say as well, we're carrying weapons. If Gavgan is what we think he is, there's a risk he might cast something. If you remember, Jacob, what happened in New York.
I do. We
With
can't
that-
hesitate.
Yeah,
Not for a second.
right. Away we go.
Okay. You head round the back of the house, and you find the only entrance that you can see on the back of the house is a small. There's a wall with an iron gate in it, and then which leads through to a small garden, and then which is essentially the back door. There's a garden. There's some coal piled up against the wall. There's a few other bits of gardening equipment, and there are 3 doors there. One is directly ahead of you, and one to either side.
What, all doors to the house?
Yep.
Which one looks the scraggiest on the pathway leading to it?
Yeah, which one looks the scraggiest? The one to the left looks more like an outhouse, maybe it's part of the main building, but you would guess that it's probably like a outhouse stroke utility, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The one directly ahead of you is like a proper back door with a proper step and everything. The one to the right, hard to tell really. It's got no really distinguishing features. Actually, that is not a door. That is a window. So ignore me. There's only 2 doors. Literally just the 2 that I just told you about.
Okay. It is dark.
Yeah. You thought it was a door, but it was a window. Easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
We try the back door, or the one that looks more like a back door.
Yeah.
The less outhousey one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, it's locked.
I'll get my picks out and my tools out and see if I can change that.
Okay. You make a percentile roll first before you do that.
5. Bloody hell.
Okay, thanks.
I put my sawn-off shotgun in my backpack and draw my pistol.
I'm still keeping a watch on the house. There's those two next to the door to see if any lights are on. Any movement.
Okay, so are you standing? So you're not going into the back garden then? Into the small. It's like a courtyard, a little small courtyard behind the house.
Yeah, I'll stay on the edge of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So if those two are next to the door,
Yeah, they are.
hang back a little bit so I
just
can watch that, so I can get a better view of the house.
Okay. You can see You can see about three or four windows from where you are. It doesn't. The curtains are all drawn. There doesn't seem to be any movement, or you can't really tell if there are any light because they're quite heavy curtains.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. What did you get? Sorry, Jacob. Can you make a locksmith roll then, please?
Yep. That is. Oh, I think that's a success. I've got 57, and my locksmith is 57, so that is a success, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You struggle a little bit, but takes you a bit longer than you'd like. But yeah, eventually hear the satisfying click as the lock is disarmed, and you can open the door if you want to.
I will gently open the door.
Have you got? Obviously, it's dark. So are you just going to accept the fact that it's dark, or are you going to get your torches out, or what are you doing with that?
I'm going to, to begin with, I'm going to accept the fact that it's dark and see, because I don't know whether it's dark in the house or not. So presumably it is.
There's no, when you open the door a tiny little bit, there's no light coming from the room beyond.
I will get my torch out. I'm going to sort of use my hand as a collar to the light to really cut it down and also keep it as low as possible, just so there's the tiniest bit of light to guide.
Mm-hmm.
And enter the house.
Okay. You find yourself in what appears to be a breakfast room. What was once a polished parquet floor is now just a little bit grubby and damaged. There's a round mahogany table under an ornate Art Deco chandelier set with fine bone china, silver toast racks, and cut crystal juice glasses. There are wine glasses here also, and then surrounding it are high-backed dining chairs. The seats are upholstered in a pale blue silk. There's a carved wooden sideboard against the wall, displaying an array of breakfast essentials, but nothing untoward, nothing that you wouldn't expect to see in a high-end breakfast room. Although, as I said, the glamour seems a little bit faded, as if the place isn't particularly well looked after. There are 3 other doors that exit this room. One immediately to the left of you as you come into the door. One almost directly opposite you, and one on the left-hand side.
Presumably the one directly opposite is sort of heading deeper into the house, is it, rather than...
Yeah, well, the one directly opposite would head towards the front of the house. The one to the right would head towards the left as you looked at it, and then the one to the right would head towards one wing, and the one to the left of you would kind of head towards the centre of the house.
There's no evidence of any light coming from under any of the doors, is there?
You can't see any light, no. No, you can't hear anything either.
Should we head towards the front? Because we want to find the stairs, don't we?
Yeah, head towards the sort of centre of the house.
Okay.
Once all 3 have gone in, then I'll move across the rear garden and enter through that door.
Okay. Yeah.
Then once I'm in, I'll close the door very, very quietly.
Okay. So you head in. You're going to go across the breakfast room, around the mahogany table, and then you're going to go through the door that heads to the front of the house. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jacob, I presume you're in the lead. So you go to that door. It's obviously an interior door. There's no lock on it. You can't see any or hear any evidence from the other side of any occupants. You going to open it?
I will slowly and carefully open the door.
Okay, you find yourself again. You got using the torch, shining it round. This appears to be a reception room, judging by you got tall windows at the front with velvet drapes across them. The walls are adorned with panelling and delicate gilded wallpaper. There's an Art Deco mural and of a subtle floral design on one wall, and an eye-catching crystal chandelier. Again, this all looks to be fairly opulent. Would have been opulent or high-end at one time, but you notice that the wallpaper is peeling off in some places, and it's a bit fading. It's a bit grubby, dusty as well in places. Okay, but again, nothing untoward. There are two further doors. One immediately to your right as you go through, which would head to the far wing of the house. One to your left, which again would head through to probably the centre of the house. And then you've got the window. Yeah.
I keep moving toward the centre of the house to try and find. I'm sort of assuming there'll be a central stairway.
Okay. Everybody else following?
Yeah.
Yes.
If Jacob's carrying his light and using his other hand to shield it, I'll just keep my pistol, so I will be covering him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody make a stealth roll, please. As you're moving through the house.
So
Just don't fumble it.
I'm back in the breakfast room.
What did you say?
Oh my god.
Oh, at least it wasn't me this time that rolled over.
As Jacob's just sprinted to the hundreds, don't even bother rolling. I rolled a 2.
Okay, you're as quiet as a mouse.
Yeah, I succeeded as well.
Okay.
An enormous
dear.
comedy sneeze.
Well, Charles is a little bit poor.
Jacob,
as
you're
well.
I'm right
That's
You're-
a horn.
at the door.
you're moving across the room towards the centre. There's a crystal ornament that's on the side, on a sideboard, and you kind of brush past it unwittingly, and you knock it off, and it crashes on the floor, smashes. You all look at each other.
I'll get
Ooh,
my
good job.
shotgun out.
I
Get my
freeze.
Pistol out.
Yep, shotgun.
Okay, what are you doing? You're getting your weapons out.
I'm training it on the door.
You stand in silence for a few seconds.
Move to the side behind a cabinet.
Okay,
Sideboard,
suddenly
whatever.
you hear some footsteps coming down the stair. There's obviously a staircase beyond the door that you're going to head towards. So foot's on wooden stairs.
Okay, can I get behind the door? And then as if anybody comes through it, I'm going to jump them.
Okay. So you're going to be behind the door. Where are the rest of you going? You staying in the room?
Yeah, I was further back in the room, so I'm just looking for a piece of furniture to crouch behind.
Okay. And
Go over by Douglas.
Okay, I holster my pistol. Actually, I put my pistol in my offhand, and I get my kosh out.
okay.
I'm going to back to get toward the back of the room, try and hide in the shadows.
Okay, so you're going to try and hide. So to summarise, then 3 of you are hiding in the room behind bits and pieces, and Douglas is going to hide. Is basically crouching behind the door, going to jump out if somebody comes through. Is that what we're doing?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. The door opens, and you see the light floods in from the corridor outside. 3 of you see the outline of the balding butler that you saw earlier, and he's standing in the doorway. He's coming in through the door. Can you make stealth rolls, 3 of you, please? See if you managed to hide yourself well or not.
Unbelievable. I've rolled 93 this time.
I failed as well.
57 fail.
Okay.
This is going well.
Okay, so he steps in through the doorway and he immediately sees, all of you really, but Albert first. You see his eyes widen and like fear etched upon his face. Meanwhile, Douglas, you're hiding behind the door. So can you make a stealth roll? See whether you can jump out before he realises that you're there.
Ooh.
No, you can't. Okay, so you jump out. As you're jumping out with your kosh, he turns and sees you at the last minute. But so it means you need to make a roll.
Oh dear, I'm going to have to cosh him in the face rather than the back of the head.
Wait, yeah.
Okay.
You need to make a brawl roll.
Oh dear. It's
Okay.
a fail.
Is that a fail?
Yeah.
It's all going to
Yeah.
pieces. You can't roll a thing. You cannot roll a thing.
Good plan, guys.
Okay.
We should just stood outside and thrown dynamite in through the windows.
It might come to that.
Okay. So you jump forward, but to try and surprise him, but he sees you coming and he basically just slams the door. Well, he pushes the door and like it hits you, knocks you off balance, and then he shouts, "Intruders!" at the top of his voice. Right, what are you all doing?
Gavigan's likely to be upstairs. Let's head up straight away. See if we can surprise him.
Yeah, I'll have to get through that
I'm
guy
gonna-
first.
I'm going to head up.
Okay,
head off.
I grapple the butler.
Okay, you're grappling the butler. Yeah.
I'll go with Jacob.
I'm going to rush
Okay.
up and try and grab the butler from behind
Okay.
at the same time, or trying to assist Douglas, basically.
Okay, so on that basis, then, so Douglas, Bert, did you say you're running past Bert? Just trying to, you're following Jacob, aren't you?
Follow Jacob, yes, please.
Okay, so Douglas, make your grapple roll.
No. Oh, hang on. Brawl, isn't it?
Roll, yeah.
No, it's foul.
Okay, you try and grab hold of him, but the butler swings at you out of desperation, trying to fight back to prevent you grabbing him. Could do if the mouse would work. Okay, so he flails wildly. So you fail to grab him, but he also fails to connect with his punch. Meanwhile, the other two are sprinting past. You manage. Obviously the butler is otherwise engaged, grappling or attempting to grapple with Douglas. You run past, both of you, into the hallway. You find yourself in a long hallway. And if I could just get Charles, you said you were grappling as well, didn't you?
Yes.
So you get a bonus die because he's already been attempted to be grappled by one person. So you're essentially ganging up on him.
Right. Do you want me to roll now?
Yep.
21. So that is a success.
What were you trying to do?
I was trying to grab his arms.
Okay, you're going to try and pin him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 21.
I'll see if
he
I
got
get. I'll do the bonus die to see if I'm even better.
Okay, so he flails at you, but you are too quick, and you grab hold of both his wrists.
Okay.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, or his upper arms. But
Yeah. What actually? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to restrain him, hold him, or hold him? Stop him from moving, you mean, or stop him from hitting you, or yeah, okay.
Yeah, stop him from using his arms, like just grabbing hold of him.
Okay.
Just a rules question. So on my bonus dice, I rolled a 10.
Yeah, that's a 0, isn't it?
So that's a 0.
Yeah. So it's an O.
Yeah, so mine was 0-1 for brawl grapple.
Okay. So the 0-1 is a critical success.
Yep.
So what was your ultimate aim? What did you
I
want
to just throw my arms around him and stop his arms from moving and hold him in his chest.
Okay, but you do it so well that what you managed to do is you grab hold of him, you managed to spin him round and get him in like a full Nelson, where you've got both his hands and you held him in a wrestling hold so he can't move.
Okay, excellent.
Your army training, watching lots of other people do things.
Pays off eventually.
Okay. Meanwhile, we've got Jacob and Bert. Right, you find yourself in a long hallway with a staircase heading up and lots of other doors off this hallway, as you'd imagine, providing access to various other wings and the back of the house. But from my understanding, you're intent on running up the staircase. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm banking on Gavigan having gone upstairs to bed, so I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, you head up the plush crimson stairs that are a little bit threadbare in the centre. I presume you've got your torch out now?
Yeah, and I've drawn my pistol as well.
Okay, there are some lights on in the house, so in certain parts you don't need it, but you've got your torch in one hand, your pistol in the other. Okay, you are you following directly behind?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, you sprint up the stairs. Okay, and you find yourself on a landing which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or about 7 different doors leading off it. Yeah, I mean there's just doors galore on it. It's like it goes left, right, and straight ahead, and there's doors all over the place.
Great.
Let's hide here. Let's hide here. See if he comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, as you're standing there, suddenly the door directly in front of you opens, and you see a woman in a nightdress come out, rubbing her eyes, going, "What's going on? What's all the noise?" She sees you and she screams at the top of her lungs.
I'll point the gun at her and say, "Get back inside."
Okay, she obviously does that. She sprints in, crying and screaming into her bedroom, slamming the door behind her, shouting, "Don't hurt me!" What are you doing? Waiting on the landing?
I think
You can feel you can hear noise now, both to the left and the right of you behind doors. You feel like the house is beginning to wake up with all of the noise that's being made. Meanwhile, downstairs, you've got the butler in a Nelson hold. Douglas, what are you doing?
I am going to cosh him over the head, given that he's pinned.
Yep. Okay. He gets some minus. Okay, make a roll anyway.
If I roll 100 and inadvertently cosh Charles.
Nice.
96.
Okay, you get a bonus die because he's being held by Charles. In fact, because it was such a good hold, I'm going to give you 2 bonus die.
Okay, good, because the first one was an 8.
What about 3, maybe?
Yeah.
No, you can only have 2. That's the maximum.
Oh, there we go.
That's all right. Yeah.
Phew, 6.
Okay, so yeah,
That's a critical success.
Yeah, okay. So because he was held so tight, you managed to just smack him directly where you wanted to on the back of the head, and he just literally goes down. Well, he doesn't go down because he's being held by Charles, but you feel him go limp in your arms, Charles.
Not for the first time.
Okay.
Drop him.
So once that's happened, what you can hear you suddenly hear an ear piercing scream from upstairs. And you can begin to hear movement above you in what you presume in the bedrooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna head up. Does there, looking around, does there look like there's a basement?
You can't from where you are. You go into the hallway.
Yeah, go into the hallway and have a look. See where
nothing in the hallway that suggests there's a basement. But obviously there are lots of other doors that go through to the other side of the house, so you don't know really.
Okay, I'm going to head upstairs because I don't think we should separate.
No.
Okay, you're heading upstairs, right? Meanwhile, Bert and Jacob are stood on the landing. Are you doing anything else, or are you just waiting for people to come out?
There isn't much of a hiding opportunity up there, is there?
No, you're literally right in the middle of a landing. There's no furniture really or anything. There's a side table, and that's it.
I'm just gonna have my shotgun at the ready. We can do at this point.
Yeah,
wait
got
for
a
the others to
pistol at
catch
the
us up.
ready. Just hoping for pure luck that Gavigan walks out.
Yeah. Okay. So you're standing there waiting for anybody to come out of the bedrooms, which you can hear the disturbance in various rooms. You've heard the woman still crying behind the one door. Suddenly, a door to your left opens, and you see a man walk through, but this time he's in his night. Well, he's got a dressing gown on. He kind of his eyes widen. You don't recognise him. Seeing your weapons, he quickly just darts back in the door and closes it behind him, swearing. The other two come up on the landing.
Have we got any sense from these 2 people as to whether they are sort of well-to-do or might be staff?
The first one you thought was staff, but the guy who just came out and disappeared. You only saw him briefly, but yeah, he looked like he looked more of a well-to-do gentleman with a well-groomed beard, and a dressing gown of quality.
Get searching rooms. If Gavigan's here, he could be preparing something or at least getting a weapon. So
Okay.
two stand in the hallway watching the doors. Two start going door to door.
Okay.
We've seen those two doors open, so we should do the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Rightio. Bearing in mind the time, I'm going to draw the curtain on this particular scene to give me a bit more time to devise the strategy for the next session. Now that
Strategy.
the whole house.
You don't need strategy. You just chuck crystal things around and just wing it like we do.
Is there a key moment where we haven't rolled 100? I think pretty much every critical moment we've fluffed it.
Yeah.
It happened at the pyramid. It happened at
the warehouse.
The
warehouse.
Yeah. And it happened at the foundation. Yeah. Everywhere.
Thing with stealth rolls though is it's only a matter of time. You're going to fail a roll eventually, aren't you? It's just a question of how far you can get in without.
Oh no! I mean that's fine. But there's a difference between failing stuff and rolling 100.
Yeah,
that's the point. The point being is at that point, because they're all asleep upstairs or away. Then unless you roll something fumble, then even a fail is okay.
Right.
But obviously, that's why I said just don't roll a fumble. And that, just as I said that, you rolled the 100.
Oh well.
Another decidedly average plan, ruined by a fumble. Well, hundreds are going to come up every now and then, aren't they? Let's see how this chaos goes next time on Steady Molding Man presents Masks and Nyarlathotep.